Hello and welcome to the Brand AI podcast. I'm your host, Lenka. This is the show for digital agencies and innovative brands focused on predictable growth. We deliver the AI solutions and systems required to streamline client acquisition and automate service delivery, ensuring you are maximizing your capacity to scale. Today, we are joined by Sam, the head of go-to-market at Cuttable, an AI company that is fundamentally changing how e-commerce brands create and scale their meta ads. Sam has a unique story. He was Cuttable's very first client, testing the prototype for 2 years before joining the team to lead their marketing efforts. This gives him an incredible perspective on the pain points of ad creation and the power of AI to solve them. Cuttable is not only building with AI, but the entire team from engineers to go-to-market uses AI in their daily workflows. We will be diving into how an AI company operates and the future of ad creation. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lenka. Thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
You were Cuttable's first client before joining the team. What problem did the platform solve that convinced you to join the company?
Yeah, so I led performance marketing at Medibank. I was there for about 6 years after spending prior to that, my career was in advertising agencies. So I worked at BBDO across Melbourne and also across London. And when I got to Medibank, it was hard to fathom how big the media plan had become. I guess when you're agency side, you see a portion of that agency, of that media plan. And obviously depending on which kind of part you work on, it's a very thin slice. But when you get to client side, you realize that media plan is a lot bigger than you think, especially when the size of a company like Medibank and they were spending tens and tens of millions of dollars per year on media. That media plan is huge. So we just had so many channels to deliver on and really limited from a resource point of view, which is a bit crazy thinking about one of Australia's largest companies being kind of resource poor, but it was when it came to how much we had to deliver on the media plan. So I was looking for different solutions to try and, I guess, increase our workflow. And I worked with Jack White, who's one of the founders of Cuttable. I worked with him 13 years ago now, and we've stayed in touch, and I got to know what he was building and trying. And I thought, we've got nothing to lose. Let's see how things go. And yeah, we prototyped, and it was really great to kind of go through that process.
Love it. What is the biggest headache for agencies in a meta ads creation process that Cuttable can eliminate?
So I think the big thing is Cuttable's been through 2 evolutions as a business. So I joined in July last year, and we were working with a lot of, let's call them enterprise companies. So the Wesfarmers of the world, Kogan, Medibank, we were working with these really large enterprise brands with big marketing teams. And it was really around helping take an idea and roll it out across all of the channels. That's what Cuttable was originally built for. We realized that as a business, we probably weren't going to be able to scale to the size that we wanted to. And we knew that kind of growth it's so important, and getting as much feedback as you can is really important early days in a tech business. So, and a lot of the demand actually for Cuttable was coming through smaller SMBs, e-com businesses, CPG, that kind of space. And so we made a big call in November to actually move away from enterprise and move into the e-com space. So we went back and rebuilt. We launched in July. Essentially, we have been helping. Now we've just clocked over 100 brands that we're working with across Australia, New Zealand, and the US. And we are basically helping them make more ads for Meta. Meta is really built around creative variation and creative diversity, and human marketing teams alone can't keep up with that. And so we are a resource for those companies to make the volume and variety of ads that they need.
Awesome. That sounds like a massive time saver. Since we're recording this on a video, can you quickly show our audience exactly how Cuttable works?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually did a podcast 2 weeks ago, and how I showed the demonstration was almost different to what you're going to see today, because we're so lucky to have an amazing engineering team here at Cuttable, and we are shipping new versions of Cuttable all the time. Yeah, let me take you through and show you how Cuttable works. So can you see that screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Cuttable dashboard. Again, we work directly with brands, but we also work with agencies as well. We've been working on our agency partnership model. We're currently piloting with about 5 agencies who are using this directly with their clients. The aim is for early next year, early 2026, to launch our agency partnership model. We've got about 150 agencies who have inquired about Cuttable, so the demand is there. And we're really excited to get there. Using Allbirds, which is a bit of a darling story in the kind of D2C space. They were one of the first kind of direct-to-consumer kind of brands who really made it big in that space. Basically, how Cuttable works is we reuse all of your existing images and video and turn them into new ads for Meta. So you can come in here and come into Open Brief and you can write, say you've got a Black Friday campaign. You can write, make me a Black Friday campaign featuring 30% off. You can tag different products that you want to feature as well, because we have a Shopify and also just a general integration where we can pull in products. You can highlight different designs you want to use. You can have different callouts. This can be as big a brief as you would like, but I'll keep it pretty simple. You hit generate, and basically it takes about 5 minutes. And then, this is some we made a couple of hours ago for just general New Year sales. Basically what Cut does is go and comes up with an idea. It comes up with, writes the copy for that idea. It'll think about customer motivations. It will think about all the assets it will have. And then it will pull all of those together to create you basically 20 different variations of ads. It edits all of the ads, all of the video footage together for you, writes all the copy. And then basically when you are happy, all you have to do is select the ads that you want to use and you can publish those directly to Meta. So a massive time saver. We think we take especially in this, let's call it the bottom and middle of funnel of Meta from a performance marketing point of view, we probably take that process from about 3 weeks down to maybe 2 hours total. We have an understanding of a brand in terms of we go really deep on their brand strategy and we pull their comms, their tone of voice, the category they're in, the customers, we build them a brand kit. And I think different to other AI platforms is we have an amazing team of platform and advertising experts who work with the clients and help them get the most of Cuttable, and they look at ad performance as well. So we pull back in what's working and what's not, and we can make more of that. So that is a very quick overview of how Cuttable works.
Wow, that is incredible. I love the speed and how quickly you can turn this. Me coming from agency background as well, I know how, headachy and painful setting up ads can be. So I would really appreciate this. Looks great.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space. And again, like that open brief where you can prompt the brief, we didn't have that 2 weeks ago. We listen to customer feedback. We ship really fast. Another, a big space that we're moving to at the moment is, phase 1 of Cuttable was reusing existing images and video. Phase 2 is going to be taking products and generating new scenes, with static imagery, and then also doing that in video as well. So we know where that's going. We know how fast that AI space is moving. And so we're constantly looking at new tools, looking at new LLMs and integrating them into the right kind of section in Cuttable is probably the way to describe it.
Love it, love it. It really demonstrates how much time you can also save, which everyone wants to save time. That's the only thing you can't really buy, isn't it? Speaking of efficiency, I'm curious about how you run the business at Cuttable. So since you are an AI company, how does your own team, from engineers to marketing, uses AI in daily work?
Yeah, I think we're really lucky to be led by people who are, taking a step back from AI, who have spent, their entire careers and lives around emerging technology. I mentioned before Jack White, who had the original idea of Cuttable, and his the other co-founders are Sam Ayre and Ed Ring. And Sam's got an amazing story. He learned to code when he was 13 years old. He wrote code for the US Defense Force when he was 14. And there's an amazing story there about they didn't know how young he was. And, he was kind of constantly talking with them, and it ended up being that he was going to do a deal with them. And I think the story goes he actually sent a bug in the code over, and it kind of got pulled. But he got hired by Microsoft when he was 19 years old, and him and his brother built an amazing company called A Cloud Guru, which they sold it for US $2 billion a few years ago, and he has now come on board as CEO of Cuttable. And so I really think, Sam's like the head of the snake in a lot of ways in terms of leading from the front and making sure that everything we do, it's all about emerging technology. And obviously AI is the space that is emerging. So I think the big thing doesn't matter if it's the product team or our customer support team, our marketing teams, there's 24 of us now who all work as one. And even within, tools like Notion and Slack, these kind of workflow tools, they are progressing so fast from an AI point of view, and it helps us capture customer feedback. So I think the big thing is just we are constantly thinking about what can we do first with AI and then thinking about workflow from there. So yeah, it's just a constant conversation.
Yep. Ongoing. Yeah.
Again, we are so customer feedback driven in terms of where we go. We look at patterns from a customer feedback point of view. We then go and build new features and ship those pretty fast. But a way that we have just recently, I think it was probably last week, Notion have launched a whole range of kind of new AI tools within there with the customer's permission. We will then use Notion's AI tool to we have basically a master prompt that looks at the call log or the transcript. It will pull out direct bits of customer feedback. It will log it in our feedback section within Notion. It will then mark it based on low, medium, high priority, put it into our roadmap, and then we will go through and review each of those bits of feedback. But in terms of you think about before that, it was up to the customer success person or myself or one of the founders to be kind of trying to take notes, maybe taking notes with Notion, think about, log it. Like that's one, it's a huge time saver, but really the amount of additional feedback that we're capturing that we might not have thought was feedback that the AI is realizing is feedback, is huge. And it's why we can ship things really fast. That's a really practical example.
It is. Love it. It's really good. Just a question on what do you think is the key difference between AI tool built by a startup like Cuttable versus the one that it's built by a large agency network?
I really like this question because I think the thing is we have 24 people who are living, breathing. Jobs are reliant on, our families are relying on us doing well within this business. Our investors are relying on us doing well within this business. We are just kind of like fully focused on building the best software or best business that we can. Whether I think when you're in a network, and there are so many kind of big networks and agencies looking to bring in tools, and I've heard lots of good things about that as well. But the reality is they are constantly pulled in different directions. You might be asked to build a workflow tool there, and then the next day you're trying to think about how to resize assets, and the next day you've got a client problem or something else. But our team and ourselves are just dedicated to solving one customer problem, and that's all we do. So I think it's the focus and the dedication that we have and the freedom that we have to do that one thing well versus having to do lots of things within an agency network.
Yeah. Awesome. You call the agency landscape fragile. How do AI tools help agencies stabilize and strengthen their business?
Oh, look, I think the pressure on agencies is immense and has been for years. It obviously has been a changing landscape, but I remember sitting, at AMV, BBDO in London, and we would be talking about what 2016 and talking about what the future of production is, looking at centers of excellence for production and trying to work out how we as a team could, one, be more efficient, have a higher margin within the agency as well, but also adapt to, that exploding media plan. I think in the almost 10 years since those conversations, it's probably tripled. I think the client expectation is incredibly high. Probably over the next 12 months, even right now, what a client expects from an agency, I think the output is probably going to double in the next 12 months of what they expect for the same price. And I say that because clients are experimenting with AI tools themselves. They are sending scamps to agencies of, hey, I've had this idea. I've done a first mock. What do you think of it? So I think that is going to pick up a lot. So I just think the expectation of the output is going to continue to grow. I don't think we've even seen close to what the expectation is. So that's probably, when I talk about fragility, I think that's probably the big thing at the moment is agencies adapting to that new.
Where do you think Cuttable will sit between agencies and clients? Obviously, you have a big plan for next year to launch agency partnerships, but what do you say? What's next? What would be next for Cuttable once you have all this covered?
Yeah, I think, look, what we're hearing from agencies at the moment is they most likely want to use Cuttable as a tool to help increase their output with clients. They probably don't want, from what we're speaking with clients about or what we're speaking with the agencies about, some of the agencies that we're piloting with is they want to use it as almost like another department within their agency. The client doesn't necessarily know that they're using these tools. Same as the client doesn't need to know that they're using Figma or Adobe, like which programs they're using. They just need to know that the output is there and it's, they're getting bang for buck and performance is really high. So I think that's probably where we're going to fit within the agency stack, probably somewhere between, almost acting as an extension of a production department. But I think the big thing that we're hearing from agencies is help us understand what is working and help us make more of that. And I think that's been a missing piece for agencies for a while, is that they have a really great understanding of a brand. They can turn that into ads. They can kind of, usually then it's either up to another agency or potentially the client holds those results. But the fact that Cuttable is a system that can do those three things in terms of understand your brand, make ads from that, show you what's working, and then help you close the loop to make more of that. I think that's where agencies are going to be able to, charge more in terms of their services, because there is more value add than just being than just offering kind of that one single thing that they might do really well.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. Thank you. This has been fascinating. Before you go, what is the best way for e-com brands or agencies to connect with you and learn more about Cuttable?
Yeah. And what's actually really exciting is today we have just opened up to service businesses as well, which we have a wait list of about 300 service businesses, from some of Australia's biggest brands through to some really exciting emerging ones. So we're about to send them all an email this afternoon and give them a call to say, hey, we're open. But any brand or agency who wants to kind of have a trial with Cuttable, I would just go to cuttable.com and you can hit start free trial, and one of the team will reach out and have a bit of a chat with you. But yeah, we would love to speak with anyone. We're Melbourne based, and we talk to people all over the globe every day. So it's exciting.
Thank you so much, Sam. You can find all those links and resources in the description below. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe and review. We'll be back soon with another interesting topic.
Thanks, Lenka. Appreciate it.